On Sunday night, I introduced everyone to a woman who is doing a transvestigation of Kurt Cobain. We were talking all about Kurt Cobain, and I just decided, well, let's take a look at this whole transvestigation thing. If you don't know what a transvestigation is, it's when a stay-at-home mother, or like your aunt who drinks a lot of wine and posts a lot on Facebook, it's when she sits around on YouTube and she looks at images of a celebrity and then just tells you that they are the opposite sex of what they present themselves to be. That's pretty much a transvestigation. In fact, I'll give you an idea of what it is. Here's where she was going over the Kurt Cobain thing that we saw on Sunday.
Hello, this is the transvestigation of Kurt Cobain, requested by Tika Koshkin. Tika Koshkin. Okay, let me spell it. T-I-K.
And if you miss this one, as you can see here, she's got a file filled with Kurt Cobain photos in here. She's very good at what she does.
K-A-K-O-S-K-E-N. Okay.
By the way, her name is JLynn. If you didn't catch it, she actually changed her username since we covered her on Sunday. On Sunday, it was Transvestigations and Celebrities of Hollywood, JLynn. Now it's just JLynn VlogZ. Okay, don't know where that came from, but anyway, this is JLynn VlogZ. She's a transvestigator, one of the more famous transvestigators of the YouTube.
Okay, now, you know, Kurt Cobain. Let's take a look at Kurt Cobain.
Let's take a look.
You guys, you know, Kurt Cobain was often, you know, showing suicidal symbolism, as well as Chris Cornell. Now, you know, the frontman for Soundgarden, the one who sung the song Black Hole Sun.
As you guys know, Black Hole Sun, it's actually a song about being trans.
Saying that he was in disguises, no one knows. Probably transgender disguises. But anyways, I see right here, because I've seen in other pictures, first of all, that's bruising right there. You know, with your close together feminine eyes and your bruising right here, I've seen your eyebrows where they were flush against your forehead, and now I see them where they're poofy, where it looks like you got recent eyebrow augmentation.
Eyebrow augmentation. So as you can see, JLynn and all of the transvestigators on YouTube are actual experts when it comes to the differences between men and women, the biological differences, Joe. They can tell it down to the tiniest little molecule, and also they are photo forensic experts of a caliber the likes of which you've never seen before. So JLynn is clearly an expert. She's my favorite transvestigator. I thought people seemed pretty interested in this. This wasn't the main focus of our Sunday show. People seemed pretty interested, though, in her transvestigations. So I kind of thought, well, let's keep it going with the transvestigations. Let's get a little bit deeper into the transvestigation rabbit hole. And let's also learn a little bit more about JLynn herself. I figure if I'm going to become a world-famous transvestigator, and we will be doing transvestigations tonight here on the show, we'll be transvestigating some of the goons, such as Dick Masterson, who we recently speculated may be becoming trans. Well, what if he's just been trans this whole time? We'll be investigating some other goons as well. I figure if I'm going to become one of the greater transvestigators of YouTube, I'm going to have to learn from the best. I think JLynn is one of the best, and so we got to get to know her. JLynn, actually, she posts vlogs now all the time. She's got a vlog here where she explains a little bit more about herself. Let's take a listen to this.
Okay, so I'm only 38, but I suffered a lot of abuse at an early age, you guys.
Now, I apologize. That's all in the left ear channel. I didn't realize that until putting on these headphones just now. So, guys, listen. If you're an expert in photographic forensic technologies, if you're an expert in the biological differences between men and women, if you're an expert in, and this is part of the investigative sciences here, if you're an expert in human flesh masks and full body suits, you can't also be an expert in audio, okay?
Guys, I'm not trying to make everybody feel sorry for me. My father was an alcoholic, for crying out loud. They were both drug dealers before. They both got arrested for drug dealing when my mom was pregnant with me, okay? They let her go because she was pregnant. My father got locked up for a little bit. But listen, it's like this, okay? Yes, I was born with withdrawals. I couldn't stop crying. I was a crack baby. Is that what you guys want to hear? I was less than 5 pounds when I was born, okay?
Okay, so she was a crack baby. So, look, we're just getting to know JLynn and the investigative community at large, okay? Sure, this video is titled, I'm Something Like a Crack Baby. That doesn't mean that she's not a world-class investigator, okay? And I think it's actually an inspiring story. I think this is something that we can all look at and go, well, there for the grace of God go I, of course, and also, if I have my own problems in my life, well, then maybe I can overcome them and become something useful to the world. You see, there's an evil plot afoot to destroy America, to destroy the world, okay, the earth. And it's a plot run by Satan. It's a plot run by the Illuminati. It's a plot run by the trans agenda. And we're here to break it all down for you. For some reason, every single celebrity is trans, and we're going to point it all out. I mean, down to the very last one. Billie Eilish, trans. Dr. Phil, trans. Bill Gates, oh yeah. Oh, he's trans. His wife, come on. I mean, do I even need, have you seen his wife? And by the way, that is how you transvestigate. You just look at a picture and go, come on, right? This is a trend. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to do some transvestigations. I even went out on the street today and did some in-person man-on-the-street transvestigations, which I will be showing you tonight. But this episode is, of course, Pizza Fund only. This is a Wednesday night show. All of our Wednesday shows are premium episodes. Every single week, we do an extra show of Pod Awful for the Pizza Funders. You can get it over at podawful.pizza. We don't use Patreon. We don't run ads. We don't have sponsors. We don't waste your time. We're fully fan-funded, and we get to do and say whatever we want as the result of this. It's an awesome system, and, you know, it's made just like Patreon. You can cancel anytime. Monthly subscription sort of thing, and you get years and years and years worth of the best content online, including this episode right here. So if you'd like to see the full thing, this right here is just a preview. I hope you'll join the Pizza Fund, $12 level and up, podawful.pizza.
podawful.pizza.
Let's just get into our own transvestigations. And obviously, the way we've seen people do that is they just have a file filled with images of a famous person. Well, let's take a famous person we know and transvestigate them. Okay, so here's a bunch of images of a trans person that we know. And of course, it is Dick Masterson of The Dick Show. She's trans. Now, a couple episodes ago, I was telling you guys, I'm pretty sure Dick Masterson is on these hormones because he's trying to turn trans. He's trying to turn into a lady. He's trying to grow his hair out and turn into a lady. Well, I had it all wrong. It turns out Dick Masterson was born a girl and has been taking all this HGH and all this tea to try to turn into a man for all these years. And I've got all the proof we need right here. It's time to transvestigate. Now, let's take a look at these images. These are just from Google Images. So clearly, I have not doctored them. Anybody can see these. Let's start, number one, let's start with what he looks like now. This is Dick today, looking like Gallagher, which if you think about it, this look right here is sort of a parody of men. Dick Masterson's entire life is being a parody of men. And for a long time now, I've called trans women parody women. You guys have heard me call them that before. Well, let's think about it. This is the dude who wrote the book, Men Are Better Than Women. Who's he trying to convince? Us or himself? He always wanted to be a guy. So clearly, if you look around here, you can see he's had fillers inside of his eyebrow ridge there. Those are clearly filled eyebrow ridge. Now, this is an actual little boy right next to him, one of his biggest fans, a 13-year-old boy with cancer. And you can see this is a normal male eyebrow ridge, male long chin. You can see he doesn't have to hide anything here with the shadows on his neck. He's got a big Adam's apple. Let's take a look at Dick. Filler inside the eyebrow ridge. Giant Steve Harvey fake mustache. And if you look here, this is actually something that JLynn, the transvestigator, was pointing out in one of the videos I watched. You see these wrinkles, these sort of ridges around the jaw here. This is only something you're going to see if you have had a jaw implant. This is a fake jaw. And if we take a look at the neck, because this image was posted by a fan and he wasn't able to edit this, you can see Dick Masterson, the man's man, the manliest man, has no Adam's apple because Dick was born Daxy Pad. Dick's a lady. Dick Masterson was born a woman. And if you don't believe me, I mean, let's look at the changes that have happened. His head is gigantic here. But if you look at classic Dick Masterson, look how tiny the little skull is. And if you really want to go back, oh, by the way, I mean, let's look at, here's the in-between. So here's the real transition period here. Look at this. The head is normal size. The neck is pencil neck size. The chin is, he's clearly had the chin implant here. It's hard to tell when they're not smiling. You can't see those lines. So he's gotten the chin implant, but the neck is still normal size. The head is still normal size. But the T is already starting to take effect because you can see she's starting to bald. But this is a classic in between an egg trans woman to male mullet. This is a classic trans mullet. This is a trans, okay? This is a transsexual. Now, how do we know that for a fact, other than all these obvious clues here? Well, we could take a look at young Daxy, okay, as she was called in high school. If you take a look at young Daxy right here, that's Dax on the left there at about 16 years old, already well on her way, trying to look like a guy. But who else do we know that looks like this, that tries to look like a guy, but we know for a fact is a female? Well, hang on a second. Let me type this in here. There's a famous actress, a very famous actress, who looks exactly like this, okay? And we'll do a comparison. And you tell me if this 16-year-old Daxy isn't the exact same as the lesbian Ruby Rose. Now, we've all seen Ruby Rose before. She's Batwoman. You know, she's been in several movies, and she's trying to be trans herself, but right now, she is just, of course, a lesbian as far as the Earth is concerned. She just goes by being a lesbian. But here you can see she's one of these lesbians that dresses like a little boy. She does her hair like a little boy, like a 16-year-old boy. Let's try to find. Oh, look here in this man shirt with these manly tattoos and this haircut. And who else has this haircut? Well, of course, young Dick Masterson. Young Dick Masterson right here with the exact same haircut, the exact same look, the same eyebrows. This is a trans. And we actually have full video of a young Dick Masterson here that we could watch just to prove this, just so you know this is not a fake thing. Here's young Dax, young Daxy as she was known back then by her by the other girls in the locker room, trying to pass as a boy. And this is 1997. You know, Daxy is an old lady at this point. So this is 1997. People weren't doing this back then. So this is their high school news.
BTV News. Your ASB president.
And I'm Dax Herrera, your ASB vice president. I'm
You hear that voice? That Dax. She said, "I'm Daxy Herrera, your whatever." Blah,
your
blah,
ASB
blah.
president.
And I'm Dax Herrera, your
And you can hear the hormones being used in there. It's that the T levels are trying to find themselves inside this little girl's body.
ASB.
We have here an image of Daxy where she, now number one, let's take a real close look here. Number one, she's got an eyebrow piercing. That's the piercing of a woman. Only a woman has that. You're going to tell me the guy who wrote the book on manliness has an eyebrow piercing? I don't know. Sounds gay. And also, if you were so manly, this was at the height of the whole men are better than women popularity. If you're so manly and you're scoring with so many hot chicks, well, then who is this? Who is this ugly Latina next to you? This fat, dumpy broad looks like Maria from Eastbound and Down. I mean, this is only slightly uglier than your current webcam erotica model girlfriend, Marie, by the way. Hula Girl looks only better than this because she's thinner. She's more dog-faced, but this is just your average quinceañera going on right here. This is a burrito-slinging papoose troll going on right here. So you're telling me this is what a real man with a real penis is pulling when you're the manliest man and you've got this eyebrow piercing? It just doesn't make any sense, okay? But let's take a close look at the body. I mean, this is the most important thing. We can see here, number one, shaving your head to try to look like you are having male pattern baldness. Very sad. Drinking beer to try to look like your average man. But let's zoom in on the shadows here, shall we? Oh, well, did you look at that? Look at the pixelation around the neck. Trying to give the neck a more masculine appearance, but wouldn't you know it, still a complete lack of Adam's apple. Dixie herself, by the way, is a papoose-slinging burrito troll, so let's keep that in mind. Ooh, boy. Now, here's where things get interesting. So this body hair is particularly strange. There's no real body hair on the arms, and this is a Mexican, so a Mexican should be pretty hairy on the arms, and really pretty hairy on the body, too, especially around the belly area. Now, I guess we've got a decent amount of coverage here, although, wait, what's that? Oh, that's right. I'm a graphic designer who uses Photoshop every day, and most of this hair has been clone stamped on. This is not really there. This part right here at the top is a little bit of real hair, and they've clone stamped it in the middle here. You can clearly see the difference between this hair down here and this hair up there, and it's because it's just been stamped into place. Basically, they just copied this and pasted it here. Now, the biggest, and by the way, this shoulder to hip ratio, if you're telling me, look at the way she, by the way, poses her hand, which has fingernail polish on the thumb there. Look at the way she poses. This is a female pose, but you don't pose like this unless there's a hip to put your hand on. So you're going to tell me that this photo hasn't been manipulated to hide the fact that these are wide hips, much wider than these fake shoulders up here? I don't think so. You can see the discoloration on the body here, this weird burned shadow right here. And that's because, let's take a close look. This is the saddest part of all. Now, obviously, this is post-top surgery. So she did get the top surgery, and you can see where they sewed back on the nipples, and they did a pretty good job. This is long after healing. And I don't think she had very big ones to begin with. You know, I think she was a bit of a tomboy. But there was clearly a bit of breast tissue because they've missed this in the edit, I suppose. But look right here. Look at this curve right here. Now, she's got her arm up. Daxy Pad's got her arm up in the air. Now, if you lift your arm up, are you going to tell me you have a hanging amount of breast tissue just hanging off the side right there? Where would that be from? Well, I'll tell you, it's from a botched surgery. You know, they've got to put that stuff somewhere, so they tuck it back behind underneath the armpit where your arm will hide it when it's hanging down. If you lift your arm as a man, you don't have breast tissue hanging off. But there you can clearly see this odd lump, which, by the way, is below the nipple, because when they sewed the nipples back on, they sewed them up higher like a man than it would be on the woman, which was down here when this was a breast. So this is clearly both photoshopped, and major surgery has taken place on this body. It is 100% confirmed, and this cannot be argued. Dick Masterson, Dax Herrera, was born a woman, and I dare you to try to come up with a counter argument to any of these things I brought up.
Excuse me. Are you trans?
What?
Are you trans?
Am I what?
Trans?
Am I trans?
Yeah.
Sorry, nigga. This content right here is Pizza Fun's own.
Pineapple dot pizza.
This shit is beefer.
Pineapple dot pizza.
We got shooters in these streets.